Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production for Gore Column, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out big news. Guys, for those of you who are believers in the future of electric vehicles, you have no choice. It's a paradigm shift that's coming. Then you have to believe the future of nickel. And if you do, then you're going to love this interview with Terry Lynch at Power Nickel, because he's got, quote, one of the best nickel holes reported in recent history. That's a big statement. We're going to talk about that. For those who are new to the story, here's a little bit of what you need to know. The company's aiming to become Canada's next low-carbon, high-grade nickel mine, and they're doing that as a result of the acquisition they made of the NISK project. 80% of that project from Critical Elements, pretty big company, Critical Elements Lithium, who's focused on their lithium. So the goal is to supply low-carbon Class 1 nickel to the developing North American EV supply chain. The NISK property itself is a large land position with numerous historical high-grade nickel intercepts. It's even got a historical 43101, but that's being updated right now. And like all great resource projects, it's in a neighborhood, it's in a jurisdiction with three other battery metal companies, including Critical Elements, Galaxy Resources, and Nemaska Lithium. For those who don't know about nickel, it plays a crucial role in lithium ion batteries. We know that. And demand is driving prices through the roof in 2022 here, or 2023 here, sorry, up more than 33%. The company's drilling. They've got great results. That's the news we're talking about. Terry, from your car in between meetings, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, George, great to be here, and Happy New Year to you and to the listeners. It's going to be a great
to you and to all your shareholders.
Yep.
Hey, so we're talking from the car, by the way, really quickly, because you're moving and you're on vacation, even though it looks nice and sunny. You're on the move. You got meetings, right?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, obviously with being, we got great news, today and lots more coming, and we're massively undervalued. So of course the job is to get out there and meet investors face to face and in many other ways to communicate our investment proposition and get the story out. That's, we got to get people don't know about Power Nickel and how massively undervalued and how big this project can be. So that's my job. Job number one right this year is to make people aware of what we're doing here.
Well, the big statement, usually sometimes people get lost in these results. They, drill results, intercepts, all that. But you're making a bold statement, so I want to talk about first. Quote, the continued extension of hole 22009 makes it one of the best nickel holes reported in recent history. Man, that's bold. Talk to us about why the numbers behind that and why you feel that way.
Yeah, there was a happy to post up maybe on my Twitter page later. There was a LinkedIn post where they ranked like the top 10 nickel holes in the last year, and we were ranked number 10 when we had the 25 meters. And now obviously we've extended that to 40. That would move us up the list quite a lot, close to the top, especially when you factor in the grade and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's just a banger of a hole, and nickel sulfide hole. So that's probably like 1.6% nickel EQ or something like that. That's massive over that size of a jurisdiction, in terms of mass. And it's 150 meters from our known resource. So that's going to add, significant tonnage. That's like $400 rock. And if you added 1 million tons, think about it. It's a big number. You've
already got historically 3 million tons measured, indicated, inferred from a 2009 43101. What's your goal ballpark? What would you like in this phase? Because I know there's going to be a couple more phases, but what's your next goal? Where do you want to get this?
So the guidance we're giving folks is that we're basically saying that, between the drilling we've already done, the drilling we've got coming, that we feel comfortable that we're going to be commercial after this round. In other words, we'll be updating our 43101 at the end of June. Full metallurgical, everything. We think we'll be, at that point, we'll probably be in the 8 to 10 million ton range. That's enough to make this commercial. And I think that there's, and obviously that would be an amazing accomplishment and a big win for our shareholders if that was the end of it. But that's not going to be the end of it, because this is a nickel sulfide discovery. And basically every nickel sulfide mine in the history of the world has always been multiple pods. So that's the way Mother Earth seems to, burp it up. And right. It seems to be like little pockets of nickel. And so right now we're working this like basically a 1 kilometer area. And we think we're going to get between 8 to 10, 12 million tons somewhere in that zone. So that's one pot. There's almost, unless we're the first one in history, we're going to find more pots. So our guys feel like this is ultramafic deposit, just like Lynn Lake was, which is 22 million tons, just like Voisey's Bay is, which is over 50. So we think at the end of the day, we're going to be between 20 and 50 million tons, and that'll put a B word on this thing. That's the unicorn number. So I can't get any more excited about what we're doing and where we're at and how it's going. So obviously, it is what it is.
And the important part too, the other element that people need to know is you're in an amazing neighborhood. You're in a great jurisdiction because there's no point in George Calm Nickel having this massive nickel project. It's out in the middle of nowhere that you can't get to, and it's going to cost me $1 billion to try just to talk to us about the jurisdiction and why you're so pleased about that.
Yeah, 100%. Several factors, right? Political risk. We're in Quebec and Canada, so no real political risk. Community risk. This area is, the Quebec government has done an amazing job working with the Aboriginal groups in Quebec to educate them on the benefits of mining. So as a result, in our case, the Cree are very pro mining, and Critical Elements, who we acquired the project from, has made a deal with the Cree, and we actually, all of our drillers, drive on the 4-lane highway up to our site, and they stay in the Cree resort while they're drilling. So we got great community relationships. We're building four mines in the region. So great support there. So that's fantastic. We're right across the road from a major Hydro-Quebec substation. So this is going to be the greenest nickel mine in history. Starts at the surface. Right now we're down to 400 meters. So you can drive to it off tarmac, off pavement. In mining, as you know, we get to some boondoggly spots where it's really hard to get to from here. But here we are, and we sort of you can drive to it and stay in a hotel, and I think it'll be one of the easiest commercial projects to develop going forward.
We can literally go to Timmy's for lunch. Come on,
you can literally go to we're literally about 7-8 clicks away from an airport, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's a monster advantage because we've seen other projects in the past who have reported big numbers, and they say, well, because it's out in the middle of nowhere, we still need $1 billion just to bring it to life, and then it dies.
That's the problem. And that's the good thing about this is, like, you're probably looking at commercialize a mine like this is maybe 250 million, of which you have to maybe have 60 million or so in equity. So, generally a commercial mines, like if you look in our PowerPoint pitch, we talk about some of our comps, people that we would sort of say, here's what we should be sort of compared to. They're basically ranging from about, I would say, 150 million US to 500 million US. And they're down, like everyone was down last year, 30-40%. So that's what a commercial nickel mine is worth to start. Okay. And so we think we're going to get to that level once people realize we're commercial. Now, maybe it waits until June until we update our 43-101. But I think as people get to understand what we're doing, we post our drill collars. We also we posted all of our drill collars so people can model this deposit themselves. We're not trying to fool anyone here. We're very transparent. So people will model it, and others, and many have. So as people begin to understand how big potentially this can be, I think that gap's going to shrink. So the market gap's going to go up, in my view. But and I could only evidence that by putting my own money in. We raised 4.2 million last November, and the Lynch family was the biggest investor. So we've put our money where our mouth is. We really believe in this deal, and we think it's going to be a huge home run.
Does Critical Elements share your level of enthusiasm? By the way, first I should say, Terry, good on you for putting your money where your mouth is, because again, in the small cap world, a lot of George Com Widgets wants to talk a big game. We're going to sell all the, but I have no skin in the game. I'm just trying to get other people to do it for me. And, it's not as believable. So the fact that, Lynch Inc., the Lynch, Irma Lynch, Familia Lynch is putting their mind on the line, that's great. Does Critical Elements share your enthusiasm for these results? Because they still have 20%. They entrusted you with NISK, when everyone was vying for it. How do they feel about this?
Yeah, they're very psyched. They haven't sold a share. They're keener than ever on the thing. You can talk to JS, and he'll tell you how excited he is about the project, I think. And I know we've had several conversations about it. So he's so busy, obviously, with getting Critical to production. Really, I think they're about to make some sort of a deal that will get them in production. And he's been just swamped on that, but I know he's happy with the results and pleased that we're executing as we sort of talked about doing.
you've got a massive tailwind in the macro world of nickel because governments are pushing for, you know, electric vehicle mandates, which means pressure is coming on companies to, you know, to find the nickel and get the nickel. How does the macro nickel story look today? And what do you expect it? What do you expect out of the next 12, 24 months?
Yeah, I think you have to look at nickel as there's really three primary markets, right? There's China, Europe, and North America. Within those markets, there's really a market for class one nickel and then class two and recycled nickel. So the two drivers in nickel are urbanization, which is people moving from, you know, villages into cities and condos and buying basically pots and pans, fridges and stoves. That's stainless. So 70% of the nickel market is stainless. That's the urbanization side of things, growing at 6% compound annual growth rate. Right now, because China was on a slowdown, the Chinese market was basically a little bit soft. And so there's oversupply of class two nickel in China. You know, it's not coming here, but it's there. Class one, also a slight oversupply over there. Europe is basically in a tight situation where they basically have limited class one nickel, especially now that they're not buying from Norilsk. And class two is in about balance. North America is basically a slight deficit on class one and about a balance on class two. Going forward, the expectation is that this year is probably going to be about the same. I think the reason why pricing has sort of been moving up is that the inventory levels on nickel are at all-time low. So what's happening is companies are saying, hey, I don't want to get the supply chain disruptions, too costly. So I'm going to take nickel into inventory and just have it there. So that makes the nickel market very sensitive right now. So, but I think from the supply and demand long-term curve, if you look 2 or 3 years out, there's a widening gap on nickels, especially class one nickel in North America. So we're getting calls like routinely now from nickel processors, from the trading companies. Everyone wants class one nickel. If you got a viable project, class one nickel, you're going to be the prettiest girl at the ball. So that's where we're at.
Well, that's a good thing because you and I are not the prettiest girls at the ball. So
No, we're not,
NISK,
unfortunately.
so you know we're past that stage in NISK, but we want NISK to be the prettiest girl at the ball.
Yeah.
Terry, what's the plan if everything is great with the 43-101 in June? You get the numbers you're looking for. We know you want to keep expanding it, but at some point, are you going to partner up with a big company to mine it? What are you going to do?
I think we run it in tandem. So basically, this is just the first pod. So we think there's, you know, probably 24 months worth of exploration that we can do here in terms of adding, you know, to get to the 20 to 50 million ton total size. And then you de-risk it by doing the PEAs and the PFSs and stuff like that. Traditionally, these projects, when they're sold, effectively they're sold really at, you know, PEA or PFS or somewhere in between there. Okay, so that's one pathway. We're having conversations with people on the processing side who are saying, hey, we can come in here and fund you through production and
Wow.
you know, partner and do. So we'll explore that. We certainly would never try and build this thing ourselves. That's not our expertise. We're very confident at finding nickel, and I think we can de-risk it in terms of the PEAs and PFSs and stuff like that. But to build it, that would be a totally different animal. But, you know, if somebody makes an unbelievable deal to joint venture or something, I guess we'd consider it, you know, but who knows in this nickel market? I can tell you one thing, it's, you know, like the processing guys, they get like paid, man, right? We get LME, they get 150 plus LME. So it's a different animal out there on that. So you'd have to, you know, you have to look at those things, but at the end of the day, we're going to have options. And I think that's what's key. And I think that's what maybe people are missing here, because I think that, hey, you guys are stuck down here at 20 million market cap. How do you get there? You know, you're going to have to raise money. You know, after this round, we're going to be basically commercial. We can cut, you know, offtake deals. We can cut different deals. So we won't have to necessarily go back to the market. We can go around the market. So these guys that have shorted our stock, they are going to bleed. So that's going to happen.
When you say cut offtake deals there, Terry, does that mean you'll actually be getting cash in with these offtake deals where they got to put some money up front?
Oh yeah.
On the promise you're going to deliver them?
Yep.
So safe to say, Terry, I mean, look, every company has a weakness. Not every company has, you know, is 100% bulletproof, but it feels like Power Nickel right now is in the strongest position it's ever been. And I'm struggling to find out what the real risk factors are outside of the general risk factors of all exploration. But what do you talk? What keeps you up at night when you think about risk?
You know what? I mean, I guess until the money's in the bank, you're always worried about that. But we're fully funded through the end of June, so we think we've got, like, we released that result today. Every 3 or 4 weeks, we'll be releasing more results, more assays. So we're going to be very news heavy cycle here for the next 6 months. So at some point in time, the market is going to recognize, how undervalued this is and bid it up. And then, like, I mean, what you'd like to do from a optionality perspective is you really want to finance with money investors, really, when you're in this growth phase, so that you can maintain optionality when you ultimately decide whether you sell the project or you JV it or something like that. You want to have all those cards at completely unencumbered. If you enter into a transaction too soon on offtakes and stuff like that, that reduces your optionality. So that wouldn't be something we'd want to do. It may be something we're forced to do if the market doesn't respond, but it's not something we'd like to do. We'd certainly like to have the market respond. And we think it's about us getting out there, using people like yourself to get the story out. Eventually, investors will start to realize this. And, I don't know when this thing is going to turn off and go forward, but I don't think 2209 is our best hole. So I think our best holes are coming, and that's
saying something.
Yeah, that is saying something. So yeah, we've said this before, so I'm not, breaking news other than to say, hey, we've maintained that we're really happy with the results of this drill program. We think there's some, we're definitely going to get to a commercial stage. So, I mean, when people eventually start to believe us, then I think this, this thing transforms.
Terry, I know you're running into a meeting, so we got about 1 minute left here. When do you think we'll have you back? Because it sounds like we're going to have you back a lot. Drill results are going to be coming out steady. And how optimistic are you from a not unicorn optimistic in terms of you have to be good CEO, but how confident are you in what Power Nickel is going to be able to deliver in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, we feel really comfortable that we're going to be able to deliver a great 43101 update, and that'll position us to be perceived as a commercial nickel sulfide project. And that's step one. So you start there and go from there. And then I think step two is to show that, hey, this thing has got legs, and it could go from 8 to 10 million tons to 20 to 30 million tons, and who knows. So I mean, that's stuff that's harder to predict because we don't have the science on that yet. We can see the science on the 8 to 10. The other stuff is basically understanding how these deposits work globally, and what should happen. But and we've got some cool stuff tech wise coming on the hunt for that'll be coming soon, and maybe that's what we'll be talking about next, George.
Well, Mother Nature is not inconsistent, that's for sure. So there's a good chance that after you get to the 8 to 10 on this pod, you're going to find others, and can't wait for that. But in the meantime, just on what we know now, congratulations so far, Terry. Great result today. Bold statement, one of the best nickel holes reported in recent history. Good luck in your meeting. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to have you back, my friend.
Okay, but take care. Cheers for now. Bye.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Terry Lynch, CEO of Power Nickel. That's what happens when you rush these things. PNPN in Canada, CMETF in the United States. To get your due diligence started, if you don't know about the company, hop onto the profile page of Agoracom. It's all there, sitting nice and pretty. Get that great and foundational knowledge, and then head over to the company's website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.